What's up, everybody? It's Will from Against.The.Galaxy, bringing you a quick tournament recap. Me and three of the boys went down to a PQ with the goal coming back with another bye for the team, and mission was accomplished. So I got those three guys with me here today. Got Nicky, who already had his bye,
What's up?
Mike, who was in the hunt going in,
What's going on?
and Nick, who was also still in the hunt.
What's up, guys?
And like I said, we had a real good day. Everybody was running hot. Both of the boys made it all the way to the top 8. Unfortunately, there can only be one, but fortunately, that was our very own Mike. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your run and how it feels having that bye now?
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. I ran into some very early luck with some good matchups. I made it all the way through to our break at 4-0. Got to eat some lunch, got to kind of hang out. Came back. Unfortunately, Nick and I were matched up. We made the decision to intentionally draw and give ourselves both a chance to make it into the top 8 with a win in one of the last 2 rounds. I was able to do that in my next round. I beat a Cure Data Vault player, which we'll go into soon, and then I was able to ID in. I finished in first place, and then able to secure it from there. So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, and Nick also running 4-0 into that break, which, first of all, pretty cool. PQ had a nice break. It was probably a little bit long for my taste, but the fact that even the Kira Data Vault players out there got to have some lunch was probably an overall really good thing. Uh, you guys got to rest up and tell us about your day, Nick.
Oh yeah, the day went well. I can't really complain. I mean, I could complain, but I won't.
You can definitely complain.
Yeah. I mean, I'll talk about that break is felt longer for us because I think we were done with 30 minutes left in the round 4. So
Playing Star Wars correctly.
you're playing Star Wars correctly. No, had pretty good run. Kind of unfortunate. I met all three of you in Swiss. And Mike and I drew, and I had to take one off of Will and off of Nicky. But the goal
You
the
didn't
goal
have to.
was
You beat me.
I,
You beat
I
me. We
did.
played those
Yeah.
games. You won those games.
Yeah, I did, and it gave me a lot of confidence going into the rest of the tournament because we got matched up in round 2. So after I was able to beat you, I had a lot of confidence in myself going forward, and we were able to make top 8. So a good day, a good day.
Very good day. Like I don't think we should. I mean, it sucks that Mike is better than you. No, I'm just kidding. It sucks that Mike finished better than you. But I mean, there's no way that we could call a top 8 a bad day.
I think the
Yeah,
only
I mean,
reason why I felt a little disappointed was because I feel in my bones that I could have done better, and I'm hungry
yeah,
to get at it again.
yeah. I mean, only one or two games better. You were knocking on the door. I was really excited to see you perform so well, especially coming off a pretty much red hot Richmond that just fell a little bit short of day 2. But I mean, still a red hot Richmond. Now we got a top 8. Like you're moving in the right direction. The boys about to get put over.
Yeah, for sure.
I also want to jump in here and say that we as a team had a very great day. 19-4-5 over the entire course of Swiss is nothing to be upset about, and especially 2 of those losses being the TKs that Nick had on Will and Nicky. We really only had 2 losses to the field. So a very good day overall for Against the Galaxy team. So very happy with our team performance.
I need to make sure I can bring that number of draws down. Those 2 weren't intentional, so we'll reduce those and move those over to the win category at some point. But it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those ones that's tough just as the control player. I mean, if you're going to make the wrong decision and leave Sabine at home, you got to be prepared to keep your opponents moving at just as brisk of a pace as you. And that can be tough sometimes, especially, in these social settings. Like, you don't want to be that guy, but at the same time, you also don't want to be that guy with 2 unintentional draws.
It also feels like I don't really want to be that guy that's like playing on the champions mat. It's like I'm kind of just here for the vibes, and it's like people know that, and it's like if I'm that guy pushing people to be super quick, I kind of feel like even more of a jerk at that point. But I definitely agree. I need to make sure everyone's playing at a good pace of play, including myself.
Hey, you can just completely switch and play on the participant mat. They'll say it really nice and big, so they'll know you played at Richmond.
They will know you showed up.
Alrighty, so here's my list from this weekend at Rouge State. Shout out to them. Really cool owner. His name is eluding me at the moment, but the event was run super clean. We did have the lunch break in between, which can be hit or miss, but I thought it was very beneficial, especially at 4-0, to kind of get a chance to reset. Um, Very standard stuff. We've talked about it a ton. We thought the call this week was for Fighters of Freedom in the main deck and Sundari in the sideboard. We didn't expect a lot of Quinlan, which I was correct about until my match in top 8. One, Chewbacca in the sideboard got moved over from my main deck. I was on 3 for the most part. And I brought the Sabine's Masterpiece back into the main deck after seeing how much work he was able to put in against the Han Green matchup. So, pretty typical stuff we've gone over before. If you want a deck breakdown, we have other videos discussing this topic. So,
yeah, at a certain point, we're beating a dead horse with Sabine, but at the same time, if it's going to keep winning, we still got to keep talking about it because it is still evolving. It might be tiny bits, but it is different every week.
It's the small things that actually make it matter, though. Like, we're playing the Fighters for Freedom over the Sundaris this week, and I'm pretty sure that was very impactful for Mike. Like, looking at his matchups here, like Kira Data Vault, those are better. Ray Data Vault, those are better. Palp Colossus, those are better. There's a lot of like differences that you can make that are small but very impactful.
yeah, so running down the matchups just super quick. My first 2 rounds, very fortunate, very good matchups for me. Not a lot of pressure on the Sabine matchup as they're very hard control decks that are looking to go big and we can get underneath. Ray Data Vault and Vader Yellow both gave me a little bit of trouble. Vader Yellow, I wasn't very comfortable in the matchup in the first game. Haven't really played against it too much on Sabine, so I got caught off guard for sure in that first game, but I was able to come back and complete the job to get the 4-0 heading into the draw round. Nick and I draw in the 5th round. Controversial at the time. Got to change a lot of tournament math for a lot of people because there was only one undefeated person going into that 6th round, so there was no draws possible. So it changed a lot of tournament math. A lot of people had the opportunity to kind of bump in at the end, but we had to obviously do what was best for the team and what we thought was best for ourselves. So that's what we went with in round 5. And that one undefeated person was Wu on Kira Data Vault. I was able to take him down in the 6th round, which felt really good. Really good time getting to meet him in person. I got to play him later on in top 8, as you can see on the right there, and he was able to get his get back on me. But a very great round for me in round 6. I was able to pull it out with a little bit of trickery with heroic sacks and things like that, and able to ID in that last round in round 7. Talking about top 8, I played against Quinlan Tarkentown, a clean 2-0. They attempted to put some pressure on me in the second game that we played by playing a 2-drop with the initiative, and I think that's a very good place for the Sabine matchup. I was able to play Battlefield Marine and just kind of snowball the game from there, and I was able to make the Tarkentown not a very impactful part of the game. Top 4, Wu was able to get his get back on me. He knocked me out. I actually did not take a game. That record is incorrect. He wiped the floor with me pretty bad. In game 2, he saw all 3 reinforcement walkers. He probably gained about 20 plus life in that second game we played, so I got knockout punched very well. But if we go back to my deck list really quickly, one thing that he identified correctly was for him was the open fires in my sideboard. I had the 3-man up to play an open fire into his Kira flip, and he decided not to flip the Kira and kind of play to the board, and that really messed up my turn. I was kind of stuck with an open fire in my hand and didn't get to catch him off guard like I was able to in that Swiss match. However, the bye got slid down for me. Alex and Wu were playing in the finals. Alex conceded to Wu, and Wu was our champion for the day. But me in 3rd place, I was fortunate enough to get the bye slid down. So very happy with the day, even though we didn't get the championship finish. I will take the bye for day 1 of Vegas.
The bye was definitely the big prize. There was a Carbonite booster. There's a bunch of booster box up for grabs, but at the end of the day, the bye is what mattered, and our team got to take it home, which was a great feeling. It was awesome watching you get that and like have that run. Obviously, I said it about Nick, but Mike's yours kind of goes without saying. Like Hyped for you. Hyped to see you in day 2 of Worlds and not have to sweat out the first one.
Yeah, for sure. I'm super excited. It feels very accomplishing to finally get it done after my 4th PQ. So my first top 8 and then my first bye. So I'll take it for sure.
Plus, now we get to get hammered Thursday night in Vegas, and you get to join the party
For sure.
because
For sure.
we don't have to wake up early Friday.
Yep. We might be playing in some side events. So we'll see what happens with that. We might be able to have a little fun out there. So
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Vegas is going to be a good time.
Feels good to see a plan come together. I mean, we kept talking that we really needed this win so that we could parlay this win into hopefully we can make a good run at Zombie Planet in 2 weeks as well. And it's like this
Yeah,
was the
absolutely.
first step in us grabbing all of the buys. This was the third Infinity Stone we needed to collect, and we were running out of chances. So the fact that we got this one is pretty big for us.
Yes, this is the Sabine list that I played yesterday at Rogue State Games. Pretty identical to what Mike was playing. Sideboard is a little bit different. I was running 3 of the Peacekeepers in the side plus an additional third Fires for Freedom, and I went down to 1 open fire. Deck felt great. Was rocking it, taking names, as Sabine does. We just kind of fell into one unfortunate matchup. In that round 6 here against Obi-Wan Data Vault. I figured the deck would play a little similar that the Rey Data Vault deck plays, but the Obi-Wan flipping into a 4/7 Sentinel absorbed a lot of damage. So that was unfortunate. He healed a lot, and they were good games. I was able to take one, but sometimes you run into a not so meta deck and you don't really have a plan for it. And I've been able to learn maybe what I need to do in the next time that I run into something like this. Other than that, we had Kier Data Vault in round 1. Got to play against Will in round 2. Kind of beat the brakes off, I'm not going to lie. Round 3, we played against Anakin Colossus. Pretty clean games. I think game 1 I lost because I had flipped my Sabine into the 3/3 shielded that can attack for 5 with Anakin, and I just completely missed that. But the game 2 and 3 were not so difficult. I was able to kind of read through it. Quinlan Tarkentown in round 4. We know the plan for Quinlan. We executed it pretty flawlessly. Then we had our break. Came into Mike on round 5. We decided to take the draw. We bet on ourselves. We bet on each other. And I would not change my decision. Round 6, like I said, against Obi-Wan. Kind of unfortunate. Then round 7, I got paired into Nicky, and I was able to kind of learn some things from Obi-Wan and from my Kira matchup earlier, and I have a lot of testing with Nicky, so I have a good idea how to play the Kira match. So we were pretty fortunate there. So we ended 5-1-1. My breakers were pretty good. Got into 4th place, got matched up against Wu. We played 3 games. They were 2 good games and 1 not so good game. My game 3, I just bricked on my opening hand and my mulliganed hand. No turn 1 play, and he was able to kind of run away with it. He was nice about it. He actually admitted that I made more of a game out of it than it really was. But it was great. It was great to meet Wu and play with him, and he's a great guy and a good pillar of the community. So not mad at all. And then we were able to get our boy across the line and get that bye. So that was the main goal. I'm still obviously in the hunt, and I'm disappointed, but there's no bad feelings between any of us here.
Yeah, for sure. It's obviously tough, getting that close and not quite getting over the hump. But I mean, it is important to remember we did only have 1 bye up for grabs. If you do take out Wu, then it's you against Mike for the bye. So it's a tough spot regardless. Somebody was going to have those feelings. It sucks that it was you, but we also got the really good feelings on the other side. We're definitely going to be getting this bye. Like you can't come this close and not end up there. And even if you didn't, like you couldn't possibly feel bad about day 1 of Worlds, like with as good as you've gotten in this short period of time. It's really cool to see you pick up Sabine and have all this success with it.
I'll also add to that. You went from playing a great weekend enrichment on Anakin Colossus to picking up Sabine in 2 weeks and having another great finish with it with a top 8. So I am very confident in you going forward. I know we're not playing in a PQ necessarily this weekend, but you'll get to have some fun in Hartford and then moving forward into Zombie Planet in 2 weeks. I'm very confident that you're going to walk away with that bye. So
Yeah, I'm feeling confident. Like my confidence has gone through the roof in the last 3 weeks. Um, and it'll be nice to have a little week off coming up, playing in some of the Star Wars events at SCG Hartford, and then get right back to the grind. Be at Zombie Planet, getting that bye, and it's gonna be a good time, and I'm excited, and I'm hungry for more.
Yeah, man, those SCGs are a really good time. That's how I like started getting into the competitive side of Star Wars. Like before you guys, I would just travel to those. I've said this before on the cast, but they're a lot of fun. They're well-run events. They pay out in cash. Eventually, they send you a check, but they're paying out in cash instead of just boxes. Um, they're a lot of fun. I recommend people go to them. I'm jealous that I don't get to go with you guys this weekend. Yeah, I can't wait to hear the success stories from this weekend for you guys.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this weekend. You've spoken really highly of the SCG events, and it's always just a chill atmosphere. You get to play some games, walk around, check out the vendors. We'll be hanging out with Mike because he'll be playing in the Magic Regional. It'll be a really good time.
Yeah, SCGs are just a good time.
and as Nikki said, I will not be playing Star Wars this weekend. Kind of unfortunately, I've been having a lot of fun playing Star Wars, obviously. But I did qualify for the RC, so I'll be playing Magic. A little bit of standard action going on. I haven't picked a deck out. I have no idea what I'm doing, but it'll be a good time to hang out with the guys at least. So
We have Woo's list here. The list looks pretty similar to what I played. There were some differences, but the two main differences you can see are he has a Relentless in the main deck and a Restock in the main deck, which are both pretty interesting. We got the chance to talk to him about it, and he kind of thinks that those are pretty important right now, specifically the Restock in the Kira mirrors. And I was feeling it a lot yesterday too. The blue green mirrors are going more to deck out since you have more base life, and everyone's playing 3 Vigilance in the main deck, where it used to just be the 2 in the main and usually the 1 in the side. So that Restock, he feels like gives him a super big edge in the mirror. Um, he said any game that he has Restock felt kind of like a non-game, where you just go through the motions. You'll remove their stuff. They'll remove yours, and you have the Restock where they don't. And then the Relentless, he liked in the main deck, so you didn't just have to go on the auto concede plan against hard control. Is usually you'll hard concede game 1, and then beat them in games 2 and 3 with the Relentlesses. But if he has a Relentless in the main deck, that gives him some game into that matchup. And I guess this all worked out for him yesterday because he won the tournament. It's also interesting to look at the sideboard. Yesterday, he was testing out some Childstons over the top targets as the sideboard card for the Sabine matchup. Top target is good, but not great. And he wanted to try out the Childston because if you can get a 5/5 Childston, it's very powerful against Sabine. And then the Arquitens Assault Cruisers, I didn't get a full breakdown from him, but the read I've kind of gotten from the meta is that those are really good against like the green hero decks like Ray, playing home one, and then some of the other big or the other decks that are trying to go big in space. So those are an interesting meta read. An overall really good day for him too.
yeah, and we will talk about this more in depth, I'm sure. He will give a full deck breakdown of the weekend. So if you want his thoughts, you can go over to his video and check that out. Coming out soon, I'm sure.
All right, guys, thanks for being with us real quick. We wanted to break down that tournament while it was still fresh. Look out for another episode of this podcast still coming out on Friday. The special one doesn't take away our weekly from you, but we appreciate all the support. Check out all the socials. They'll be linked below. Do all the YouTube stuff, like, comment, share, subscribe, tell all your friends. There's a new hot team in Star Wars, and they're taking everything. So until next time, we will see you guys on Against the Galaxy.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.